Ladies and gentlemen, family members of the RV Nerd Herd, I gotta say, hats off to you and hairline off to you. This might be the ultimate Franken camper, and it was all put together based on your feedback. Wait till you see this sucker. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV down here with the newest, latest, and I might say greatest from Ember. This new 240 Overland tandem axle toy hauler bunkhouse, not a bunkhouse, Franken camper that they put together here. It is wild, guys. Wait till you go through this thing. They put this together based on, like, they took all the comments, all the feedback that you've been leaving on their videos for a couple years now, since Ember video #1 that we put out here, and they slapped this together. Since day one, people have said, why don't they make a toy hauler? They need to make a toy hauler. Well, they did, and they didn't. First of all, let's just look at this. It's one of the best rear patio functions I think I've ever seen on any RV, not just travel trailer, but fifth wheel, anything, with this cool little, like, pop-up tent screen wall. So you actually have some really good kind of, shaded patio coverage right there. They even slapped on that side cargo door on this like it was a conventional bunkhouse, which obviously it's not. They didn't have to do stuff like that, but they figured, hey, why not? Anything that we can possibly do on this thing, we're going to. The bunks are completely removable, and we're actually looking at a prototype version of this. That's the technical term for it if you're keeping track of the nerdisms. But this thing will have the potential of having 4 individual single bunks, or a desk, or a combination of bunks and desk, or a campsite dining bar, or none of that. And you can just straight load cargo up into this thing. And up in the front of it, all the people have said, why don't they make a twin bed? Why don't they make a king bed? They decided to make a twin to Kingvertible bed system with a sliding wardrobe tower, so you actually have some kind of hanging storage, which I don't usually see done with twin beds. This being an Overland, we still have that all composite and aluminum body structure, the 4-wheel independent Kurt trailing arm suspension system with the really heavy-duty Wrangler tires, so if you want to get off the beaten path, if the sidewalls of the tires get grabbed by something, going down, you're not going to have to worry about, like, tires blowing out on you. TPMS standard. You have the Super Solar package available on these, 0 to 100 degree rated, tested, proven, and a partridge in a pear tree. It might be the single most flex function convertible camper that maybe has ever been conceived. I need to hear what you think about this. And I mean, I don't think we can do something like this without diving into the patio first, because that's what's cool about this. You don't have to use it like a toy hauler. This could just be like a family or no slide couples model that has like a legit patio on the back. The little cool chairs not included, but obviously really fitting the part right here, the little kind of folding director's chairs. And as you see, you've got one of those like full-on retractable screen walls. That's why everything looks like a little bit black and white grainy. It doesn't really have like stop points in between. It's kind of up or down, but I think that's how most people are going to use it, is just up or down. You can see that with a little toe flick, you can get that sucker right out the way, and then it's gone. And this RV actually has dual entertainment. You've got rear and living entertainment, and they're both 12-volt TV soundbar combos. And I kind of like where they put the spare tire on this one, although nothing says you got to put it there. They didn't put like a little wet bar off in the corner, and you can see that they put some recessed D-ring tie downs anywhere they could. Now, they have this all set up for their display, and I don't want to like take apart all their decorations and everything they've done, but I don't know, maybe with their permission for road mode, we might disassemble this whole sucker, because there's some cool things going on here. Now, you've got about 56 inches of loading width, by the way. And you get all this out of the way, and from, the back to the front, you've got all kinds of crazy cargo space. But you've, of course, just like you've seen in the MSL bunk stuff, you've got these, like, multi-function, they call them Ember track, E-track, basically, things. But with this being an open concept, they didn't have a partial wall right there. What they did is they created these removable posts where you can mount these suckers. And again, we're kind of looking at a prototype right now. Some things are going to change on this, but what you're going to see is a third one of these posts up here on the corner of this thing, because as they were looking at it and playing with it, they realized they had kind of an opportunity here. Like right now you're looking at it, it's like 2 single bunks and like a dining bar, a desk or something, but that bottom thing is literally just like another one of those bunk sections. What they're realizing is that they have the opportunity to create a true 4 quad bunk on this. And what's neat about that, because it would be a longer set of quad bunks, not side to side for individual tiny beds, it could actually be like adult-sized, long sleeping beds right here. You could really rack, pack, and stack them in here. And compared to a naval submarine, it's going to feel awfully darn spacious. Now, if we had these little director's stools out of the way, you could see the wheel well. This being the prototype, they built the wheel well a little bigger than they needed. That is going to shrink down several inches, and it is fully drivable. If you need to drive up on that to load something, you can. But they want to shrink that down. They found they didn't need the wheel well quite as aggressively penetrating into the RV. That way, if you're loading, you know, like a golf cart or something like that, you don't have to rock it side by side nearly as hard. Now, over here in the forward section, they added some more traditional horizontally mounted E-Track versus the, what they call Ember Track stuff. And it all uses the exact same attachments, by the way. That's why they set some of these things up here. Like if you, you know, you want to, it includes all the hardware, by the way, to convert this into a double over double bunk back here in the corner. I've removed the two double bunk conversion sections so that you can see, you know, kind of how this operates over here. But you're going to have all kinds of different crazy arrangements with this. These are carpetless and ventless. This is very, like, easy to keep clean. These have a inverter in them, factory standard, with a much larger inverter in their max solar package. So every single household outlet that you're looking at in the RV, that can be, you know, powered even when you're off-grid. They've got the Euro-style windows that provide insane sound dampening. And when they open up, absolute maximum airflow. Up top here, they've got their Truma Aventa air conditioner. That is now standard on all the Overlands. That's one of the changes that's happened since these first debuted. That thing is a lower power draw, nice high output. It also has an awesome dehumidification function. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the outside. I want to get up here, though, because this is completely based on your feedback. Like, when they first came out with, like, their 201 floor plan and some of their touring edition floor plans, they had a 60 by 80 True Queen easy nose walk around bed. And then they came out with a Murphy Queen situation that was pretty cool. But some people said, what about twin beds? What about king beds? And Ember said, what if we find a way to do both? But first, before we get there, obviously you've got the, like, dining desk bar situation. I love this overlook over the window, by the way. It's so fun and so trendy and so cool. But what if that's not what you're looking for? Or if you've got, let's say you've got your kids set up over there, or people are still sleeping. What if you want to sit down, have a cup of coffee, play around on the laptop or something like that? Well, I set down my camera here, and I wanted to demonstrate this for you. Like, you do have the Lagoon table set up as well, where you've got two of those table mounts. Now, they're going to move those mounts a little bit, but this being the first run, they weren't quite sure how everything was going to lay out. But those can pivot around, do anything you want. But this, like, gigantic mega lounge up front converts into a twin bed situation. It's, as far as I know, the first twin bed Murphy bed camper I've ever seen in the marketplace. But then you see how they maintained a middle wardrobe cabinet, and it moves out of the way, and it converts into a twin to Kingvertible bed system. And those are 80-inch long mattresses, and they frankly don't suck. Factory bedding always sucks. This is one of the ones that I think I might not need to replace or do anything with. So you can have two individual beds. You can use one single bed. You can have one mega bed. And you have room lounging tons of people in this RV. So even though it's a no-slide RV, if you're stuck inside on a rainy day, you have all kinds of room in this thing. Not to mention with that Ember Stargazer skylight up top. You can, if you hear some crazy noise outside, you can pop your head out like the porthole of again, a naval submarine. I seem to be on that kick today. And keep a peek on everything that's going around there. If you hadn't noticed, this is the camper equivalent of a turducken, a chicken turkey duck. It does everything. I've described things as Swiss Army like campers before. I've never seen one. And I mean, like, you know, Wildwood, some of the other Embers, they have multiple different flex function conversion configurations. I've never seen one with this many possible different configurations, all factory standard in one single build. By the way, all these little drawers, they're all soft close. And I love that they just threw some extra drawers there. Now, this empty blank panel space, that in the base form of this would be storage, but when you get max solar, that's where your big mega converter charger station goes, your big lithium battery bank, and everything goes down in there. Normally, the base version of this, your batteries would be contained in that gearbox up front. But with the Max Solar package, they bring the lithiums inside away from the weather, which I think is smart. Now, they're using a thing called a Truma Combi system, which is a combination water heater and furnace, and that's what some of those little black circle vents are that you've seen around. I wanted to kind of sweep you around to give you, again, the full picture of the thing. But diving in over here, the Overland series of Embers, they do not include a propane oven. They never have, and currently there's no plans to do so. However, they have recently updated to include a convection air fryer microwave oven. And if you're looking at this, the TV kind of looks like it's at a terrible viewing angle that's not good for anybody. Well, good news, Carol Baskin. That sucker can pivot around. It's a 12-volt TV soundbar combo. That's also a big 12-volt DC compressor fridge over there. And having a little more space in this one, they were able to build a little bit more storage into it as compared to a lot of their Overlands. Now, this is very comparable to like a 201, a 221 Ember Overland, if you're familiar with those. But compared to the single axles, you actually have some pretty decent storage space in here. And if you're curious, if you're like, yeah, I still feel like my kitchen prep space is limited, it's only limited by your imagination. That's the cool thing with this. Now, our ceiling lighting, our awning lighting, all that kind of different stuff, they're all on dimmer switches if you want to bring that up and down. And with this kind of, because the walls are laminated, they had to build this like post in here, but it's not so big it's in the way. But it condensed all of the command center stuff into one location, which is something that I've wanted to see Ember do for a while, and I just realized. Look at the campsite window coverage of this. Starting from the front, Twin King Murphy does it all bed, all the way back here. This is easily, hands down, the best campsite viewing of any of the Embers that they've done. It's like everything that everybody has ever said they wanted an Ember to do, it does all of that. Like smart kitchen outlet locations. There's another set of kitchen outlets behind the little decorative utensils that are over there. And then if we slide up here to the bathroom, it's the same big bathroom that you've seen on the rest of the, I would say, I think I've said tandem axle Overlands. Technically, it's four-wheel independent Overlands, Now, the ceiling height in here in the back of the RV is 6.5 foot tall, so my head will need to be in that skylight a little bit, as you can see. But the ceiling actually sweeps up. It gets taller in the living room area. And that's very necessary because this RV doesn't have a side-to-side sloped and barreled roof on the outside. So the north to south arch, well, not even arch, but angle is what is going to give you the good water runoff. Now, it's a porcelain foot flush stool. You can see that was fairly fluffy friendly. I was a happy camper related to that thing right there. And then, of course, we've got the shower miser system over here so that if you are boondock dry camping, your fresh tank can be Maxwell House. Good till the last drop. You don't have to waste any water unnecessarily. And no peekaboo, I smell you bathroom door. Now, fingers crossed. I'm going to go ask the Ember folks. I'm sure they're going to assist us with this here. I want to sort of show this in road mode with all this out of the way so you get to see all the wide open space in here. And as you can tell, they were kind enough to oblige. Actually, everybody jumped out here and peeled all this out. So kind of like, again, from the front to the back, showing you all the big open space you have here. Now you're saying, yeah, but there's like a stripper pole in the way, dummy. This is, once again, these are removable. There's a couple little tension knobs. I've got them just finger tight right now for quick demo purposes. But that will drop out, and then you can literally just pull this post out of the way. And again, it's important to mention there is going to be, in time, a third post included with these RVs that will mount kind of in the front of where that sort of little corner desk station was right there. And the goal behind that is to be able to give you the support needed to actually, like, be human load bearing for like cargo purposes. Now, once again, depending on what you're doing with it, you don't necessarily even have to drop that door. You could have this little side patio door over here for like, I don't know, inside out serving station, extra airflow. The fact that they even included this, I don't even know that this needed to be here, but they already had the wall kind of engineered that way. And it's what I call just, why not? Like, why not just do the extra cool thing? And then we just walk right out here to the patio. This is kind of where the adventure began, but now sort of resetting back to stage one, instead of having it in full-on living mode, now we're just in full-on cargo mode. Now, again, that wheel well that's sticking up, that will be shrinking down, so it's not quite so invasive and intrusive. I think the lowest common denominator on this one is, your loading height right here. That's going to be the thing that will limit you the most on this, because it's not an extra crazy, super tall mega hauler. It's a Swiss Army knife, and sometimes, you know, Swiss Army knives can do a lot of things, but maybe not always individually the best as anything else, but combined they can do everything. Little dovetail action right there, but loading right up into this, you know, especially if the beds are up out of the way, you have a shockingly big, large, it's crazy how big and wide open this feels with everything out of the way, although pardon me for quietly setting that little removable post out of the way off camera. I didn't feel like carrying that around with me and gouging it into the walls as we go, because I am that clumsy. And I know I'm going deep dive on this one here, but just every little things that are good, things that are not good. I mentioned how the garage door opening is going to be your least common denominator. I'm a little over 6 foot tall standing on that dovetail right now. I would absolutely concuss myself on that that steel beam back there. But to just stand on the ramp patio next to it, to give you an idea, I'm just shooting from the hip. I think that this is probably about 5, 8, 9, 10-ish total clearance right there. So that's probably going to be the biggest limiting factor in terms of what you can load in this beyond the 56-inch width that you have between the bathroom wall and the actual sidewall over here. All right, so if we talk towing on this, as I always like to do, taking a look at the weights and measures, some very pleasant surprises here. There have been some criticism of some of the Ember models in the past that they were lacking in cargo capacity, and I think those were fair criticisms. You can see that is not the case on this one. You know, when you start putting a ramp door, you start putting a basically giant potential wide open garage on this sucker, all the potential cargo space that you might have in it, you know, you need to be able to have some good cargo capacity, and it certainly delivers on that. Now, not with the ramp down. With the ramp down, it's about 36 feet, by the way. With the ramp closed, you're going to chop off about 6 feet, so you're about 30 foot tip to tail, you know, tongue to tail for towing size. And I think that is a really awesome target for all the function this has. Now, the thing is, it's got about a 10,000 pound GVW. The empty hitch weight, this is still in the prototypey phase, so I don't have a hard number, but the empty hitch weight is around 800-ish. That's probably going to knock a lot of half tons out of the equation. Maybe not necessarily in all situations, but if you're asking me for just a plain, blind, generalized recommendation, I think that you'd be a lot more comfortable and enjoy the experience a lot better with something that said 3/4 before the ton, you know what I mean? Now, obviously, it just has all that good Ember Overland look that you kind of have here. They really do have such a striking appearance on them. Now up top, you can see those solar panels shining in the sun. Look at that sunshine come out beautiful. This has their you know, full 600 watt max solar package shown today. That is the you know, optional solar package. But we're really finding when somebody wants to go to this series of camper, like 90% of the people that order one of these, they're ordering it with the big solar package, and just the flex function that it offers you. I don't, you know, I would probably prefer it. If I was going to get into something like this, that's probably the way I would go. I will tell you, this RV is vastly more capable than the kind of plain Jane vanilla boring camping that I tend to do. This is vastly more than I would ever need in an RV. Doesn't mean it's not fun to look at. It's like I've got a nice giant flat screen high def TV in my house. It doesn't mean I don't look at the TVs every single time I go to the store. Now, the underbelly of this, it is enclosed. You have that radiant barrier. They have holding tank heaters on all the holding tanks, and every single Overland model they make, they actually do some weather testing. Not every single individual unit, but the floor plan. They will, like when they build this, they will run it through a weather test, 0 to 100 degree, tested, rated, proven. And over here you can see just, this is kind of one of the original signature features, that little built-on wheel chock, basically, to help keep this thing a little bit stable. You've also got the, you know, quick drop stabilizers for some better action there. Goodyear Wrangler tires, basically truck tires. The idea behind this is an RV that maybe you want to get off the highway a little bit, and it is possible, depending on where you're going, you might try to, you might accidentally scuff into the sidewall of that tire a little bit. So they wanted to equip it with a tire that had the sidewall capacity to be able to handle a couple little scratches and bumps and bruises without blowing out on you. And of course, a true four-wheel independent suspension system. That Kurt trailing arm suspension, That was actually, you know, Ember was the original user of that package right there. What's funny is one of the founders of Ember briefly, this is kind of a funny story to me, briefly worked, you know, as a independent contractor helping develop that system, only to then immediately turn around and use that system on his own brand of camper that they later ended up building, which coincidental, funny, isn't it? Of course, we've got the Euro windows here. These are 2.5 times more insulating than frameless dual pane windows that you find in most RVs. Now, keep in mind, that means this is still only like an R, like 2.5, something like that. They are incredibly noise dampening. They have the day-night bug shades kind of built in, but there is nothing that matches the airflow that these things put out. Just absolutely nothing. Now, by the way, this little like 12-volt fridge, freezer, cooler thing, that is not included with this camper. We're just in their display. They happen to have that out for some drinks for folks like me. I might grab myself a water because you can hear I'm getting a little more froggier than normal. I may hop on over. Now, up front here, the lagoon tables and everything that we saw inside that big brown box, that is the telescopic removable ladder. I just put all that stuff up here in the front storage compartment so that you could see, you know, with cargo loaded, you know, even haphazardly, the kind of space that you have in here. It is a nice full pass-through under that crazy twin-to-Kingvertible bed system. Now, if you're looking at this, you've got the full-on Ember exoskeleton. It is a powder-coated aluminum. And below that, you actually have like a Turnabond tape. So there are multiple like additional seal points that they're putting into this. Not to mention the roof, walls, floor. Everything is like aluminum and composite on these. So it's what I call a good bones camper. It's something that, you know, could theoretically be like generational, where maybe you hand it down to somebody. Now, taking a walk in the woods, I think I just got some poison oak up my backside. But hey, you know what? I do my own stunts, and I put my body on the line to do this video. Being an RV nerd, sometimes a contact sport. Look at those little, like, look at the upper corner. You can see that Ember logo kind of almost, you know, glittering with the light coming through the leaves. It's like basically, you know, like laser cut. And what I like about that is that sort of acts like a little bit of protection from like a tree branch, blocking, you know, basically helping protect that stargazer skylight that you have up top. Now, just like the exoskeleton, we have a powder-coated aluminum gearbox up front here, and you can stand on it. It is rated to hold, you know, American-sized weight, basically. Now, this is one of the very few where they do not have that power tongue jack kind of system, because it's actually a power corner stabilizer jack, but this RV with the hitch weight and all the cargo weight might actually overload it. So they wanted to go to something a little heavier duty and more robust that you're looking at here. They still have the Versala coupler system, so if you want to exchange that out for an articulating hitch, you can. The opposite side will have your double propane tanks. This side of the gearbox is currently empty, because this is where we're looking, this is where your battery hookups would normally be. But with this one having max solar, they have Battleborn batteries basically housed inside of it, protected away from the weather. And again, no slide. Easy, perfect for stealth mode camping trips. You know, you don't have to like open anything up. They of course still have their all enclosed docking center, little portable solar prep plug included on that as well. But this is also where all of your gate pull valves and everything are located. And again, if I'm just going to be stupid ultra picky, I would like it if that battery disconnect were somehow moved up somewhere a little bit higher away from shifting cargo, but it's probably not the end of the world. Just one little thing that I sort of noticed here. I'm trying to be like, I've been super over the top about this. I get it, just because this is fun, this is exciting. You may have also noticed we're not plugged in right now. This has been completely running off the solar and lithium package. All the household outlets in the RV are live right now. Like if I wanted to plug my laptop in this and do some work, I could just charge her right up. And they do have everything run to a single sewer outlet right here, so you don't have to do the walk of shame from hookup A to hookup B over here on the, well, unceremoniously described as the poop side of the camper. Now, like I said, you can stand on the gearbox. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. The RV includes a telescopic ladder that mounts on the side of the RV so that you can get up here if you want to, but I thought I'd kind of demonstrate the fact that you could stand on it and give you a look up here at the roof. What you won't see when you go through the roof of this is you won't see like rubberized roof membranes. You won't see TPO or PVC or anything like that. The roof is quite literally a wall but double thick. It's like a 3-inch laminated all composite structure. You can walk all over it. Obviously you see that you've got that full max solar package up there, and that Truma Aventa air conditioner that's now standard on all the Overland editions. If you're not familiar with that thing, one of the coolest parts about it, it's a lower power draw. It has all kinds of variable speed functions, but it also has just like a dehumidification drying mode, which just sometimes, like a day like today, I don't really need the air conditioner on, but like it's humid, it's tacky, you feel like you're sweaty even though you're sort of half chilly and clammy. It'll get that crap out of the air and just make it so crisp and comfortable in the RV. That's one of the things that I really like about this. Now, how long can you run the air conditioner off the solar is a loaded question. I have no real answer for that. It's going to depend from a few hours to a few more, depending on things like how many Battleborns or whatever battery capacity you have, what sort of weather exposure, where you're parked, did you add portable solar or not. So some hours to some more hours. But a neat idea on that, something that I've personally done on my own family trips. We stopped at like a Cracker Barrel to get Mama's pancake breakfast, and I never didn't know if I want a grape or an orange cream soda, so I get one of each, and I'm probably going to end up with diabetes by the time I'm done with it and all the maple syrup. But what that lets me do is we can keep our dog in the trailer and crank on the air conditioner so that my dog ain't dying and suffering in the heat while we're inside filling our bellies. So there's some really cool kind of mooch stock capability here too. So let me know what you think about it right here. Good, bad, ugly, in between, upside down and inside out. This RV does a lot of crazy things. One thing I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be the lowest budget camper out there. But if you want a rig that does all the things, maybe sometimes you want to bring kayaks or e-bikes or a motorcycle with you, and sometimes you want to bring kids with you or friends or something like that, or family members. This one RV within the same trip can be totally different things. And that's what I think is very cool about it. I'm a guy that likes options. That might be the ultimate Swiss Army knife camper. Tell me what you think about this one. It is wild. I'll leave you links in the video description to check for pricing and availability. And I apologize if I was shouting a lot today, but I see the same thing all day, every day. And when I get to see something that is actually, truly original, it just gets me going. So until next time, thanks again for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.